Center for the Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on speaking. Previously, we developed our listening skills by listening to a passage describing the manufacturing process of a pair of jeans. Today, we will discuss the topic of globalization. Are you ready, everyone? Let us begin. Globalization is a topic of much conversation in Ethiopia. It refers to the unification of the world's economic order by reducing or avoiding the usual barriers to international trade, such as tariffs and export fees. If globalization succeeds, the theory is that the world's material wealth, goods, and services will be available to anyone at any time. This seems like an appealing concept, does it not? However, globalization does have its share of risks, many of which are of concern to Ethiopia. Consider looking at some of the items you may be carrying or wearing. Many of them are labeled to indicate where they come from. Most pens and pencils come from Japan, so if you look closely, you will see a label that reads, "Made in Japan." This means it was made in Japan, which is called a past passive statement. In a statement like this, you modify the meaning of the verb by applying a modifier for the tense. As the world's goods are spread around the world through international trade, we are able to enjoy access to resources we would not otherwise have. You may have seen many objects around your home that are made in other places. Most high-grade electronics are usually manufactured in China, for instance, which is something we can find on the label of many of these devices. Similarly, you may have been able to enjoy traditional Ethiopian products like injera in other parts of the world because Ethiopia has imported it there. Many of the items and resources we circulate have a cultural significance to us. Therefore, many would say that as we import and export our national products, we are also trading in cultural values. Thus, one of the concerns is not just the product we may be importing, but the ideas we are importing with them. Students, let us begin our first activity. Each of the products you see here are available globally. Working with a partner, choose one of the products and discuss its positive and negative effects on the world. Make sure you address the cultural impacts of these products. I will see you in a few minutes.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up! Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, everyone. I am sure you found this exercise interesting. There are many possibilities that you may have considered to be positive or negative effects of each of these products. Let us look at some together. We will begin with the computer, a device which still has a significant cultural impact. In fact, historians are still trying to measure the total effect it has had on today's culture. the computer has had dramatic effects on the world because it is currently the fastest means for transmitting information. The beneficial effects of the computer are quite numerous. For one, complex mathematical data can be processed quickly, which has advanced scientific research by a great margin. It has also provided us with a means to stay connected to the entire globe through the Internet. This gives us access to news from around the world, but also allows us to see a variety of different political and social perspectives. In this way, we are able to learn more about different points of view and also become aware of information that would not be as easy to find printed in a book. The computer has created an entirely new form of expression through digital media and graphics. As these systems become easier to use, underdeveloped nations will be able to express worldviews for a much lower cost. It is easier to share information with someone over a digital system than it is to fly across the world just to demonstrate your ideas. However, computers are manufactured using many resources and need significant power. The parts required to put a computer together come from all over the world. Some of these resources, such as rare earths, are only available in certain parts of the world, like China. Also, computers are reasonably expensive to own. Thus, there are areas of the world where there are more computers and some in which there are less. This means there are nations that contribute valuable resources to make computers that they will never use themselves. Furthermore, since only those with wealth can afford the most powerful computers, the information that is accessible to us is largely corporately owned and serves private interest groups. This means that the culture of the Internet is also represented by these groups. What about the iPod? This product is currently very popular as a media device. Its impact on the music industry is significant. With an iPod, we can access and purchase music from anywhere in the world at any time. On the consumer, the effects are mostly positive. Being able to enjoy all kinds of music broadens our interests and allows us to access styles of music that are not necessarily popular in our local area. We are also able to customize and personalize our music to cater specifically to our needs. However, most of the accessible music is from Western cultures, such as the United States. As a result, people all over the world listen to music mostly from one area. Songs reflect the cultural values of the places they originate. As a result, this could fundamentally change our own values, even though we have no intention of doing so. This could distance a society from its musical heritage. Certain songs, or even styles of music, may disappear completely as a result. The bicycle is an extremely useful product. It has had possibly the largest impact on transportation in the world. It revolutionized small towns by allowing residents a quick and cost-effective way to meet new people in neighboring areas. This had an enormous impact on the growth and spread of families. Communities grew larger very quickly. The bicycle was also instrumental in discovering the mechanical principles of the automobile. As an interesting note, it is very difficult to think of any disadvantages of the bicycle. Arguably, it is one of the best examples of the positive effects globalization can have on a society. Students, it is time for your last activity. Working with the same partner as last time, decide on a product you think has had significant cultural impact on the world. Write a list of positive and negative effects it has had globally. Please begin.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up! Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, everyone. I am sure many of you had some very interesting perspectives to share. You likely discovered during your discussion that it is very difficult to decide whether globalization is good or bad, since many products that are shared with the rest of the world bring advantages at the same time as they pose a risk to unique cultures. At the end of the lesson, you will each present your products to the class. Consider the opinions of your classmates and try to formulate an opinion on globalization in general. This concludes our lesson for today. We have discussed the concept of globalization and studied some products that have both positive and negative effects on world culture. I hope you have found this informative. I will see you next time, when we will focus on our writing skills by working on a leaflet discussing fair trade. Until then, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.